programme. It seems to me that lots of people are a bit snobby about watching the cable channels, but they're well worth flicking through. I've noticed a lot of the shows have extreme in the title. Extreme couponing. What's the extreme bit? Is the dad using a chainsaw to cut out the coupons while a tiny child holds the magazine? Extreme furniture? That would just be me getting on a bar stool. Trying to keep the conversation going while doing the hup noise. And there's Laid Bare, a behind-the-scenes look at the porn industry. Behind the scenes? What, are they putting their clothes on? Just eating sandwiches? I wish the dog whisperer was just a man leaning into a Yorkshire Terrier going, "Your breath stinks." Then there's It's Me or the Dog, where people decide who did the turd on the kitchen floor. It's me or the dog. Someone's been eating out the bin during the night. It's me or the dog. It was me. Are tough. The economy is struggling. Lots of people are short of money. But as ever, TV is there to help us out. Shows like Super Scrimpers are great. Here are some money-saving tips that I've learnt. Don't buy the Super Scrimpers book, just get it out the library. Don't buy Christmas presents for elderly relatives too early. Clean your windows with vinegar, that way your kitchen smells of chips. Wondering what to do with all of that unused window lean? Pop it on your chips. Use your dad's pants as dusters, but not while he's still wearing them. If anything, it makes it more smeary. Make your own hair removal wax by melting sugar with water and lemon juice. I did that and it all went wrong. Now I've got a caramel bikini line. But the boys seem to like it. And so do the wasps. Some of the money-saving tips are bloody rubbish, though. Don't spend money on expensive gym memberships. That's it. Just don't. Save money on cotton wool. Use small pieces of cut-up tights to remove nail varnish. But then you'll have to buy new tights. Save money on tights by sticking cotton wool to your legs. Don't buy deodorizers for your shoes. Put cat litter in them overnight. But then your cat will have a shitting. I mean, that smell of cheese is almost gone. Save money on pets, make friends with a dog owner and walk their dog. Save money on a partner, have sex with your friend's husband. Have you noticed how all economic terms sound like something else? Quantitative easing. Is that like an economic rennie? Sounds more like a big dump. Just nipping off for some quantitative easing. Anyone seen Heat magazine? Inflation? Is that like bloating? So is deflation a bucket of Activia and a good fart? Apparently, the banks have demanded an injection of liquidity, dirty buggers. One thing I do understand is pie charts. That's what I call the menus in Greggs. Now, we all need help understanding this stuff, and who better to give us that help than TV's money-saving expert, Martin Lewis. Hello, Martin. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, do you actually spend anything, or are you just a tight arse?
I have spent a penny on occasion, if that counts.
Is any of the your house, not nicked from a hotel.
The thing is, what you do with that
That's a no, then.
Listen, it's an implied freebie when you're going to the hotel. There's nothing wrong with taking them. Stealing the towels and the dressing gown is difficult. It's different, but the shampoo is there for you to be used.
Oh, no, you said it's difficult. You didn't say it was difficult.
Take me away now.
Have you got loads of the little sachets of sugar in your house from cafes?
That's slightly different, because then you're only meant to take 1 or 2. You're not meant to take the whole lot. So I'm not sure you would get the same implied consent of taking it.
They don't know that you're not the sort of person who has 4 sugars, so you could take 3 and just put 1 in your tea. Couldn't you?
I like the way you think. You want to come work for me?
No.
I don't pay very well.
One of your tips is you say take a sponge into the shower because it saves soap, doesn't it? Does it have to be a sponge, or could a Swiss roll do the job?
I mean, it's not actually one of my tips, but I like it anyway. It'd be dual purpose. You know, you'd enjoy it.
Well, exactly. I mean, you'd make sure you had a bite first before you started doing it in your armpits, wouldn't you? I bet you... Do you love an all-you-can-eat buffet, though, do you?
Oh, I do. I'm not allowed off them. But I go in there, you know, and you have to... The thing about an all-you-can-eat buffet is you have to do it actually as a practical experiment of how you're going to get the maximum in. People make terrible mistakes. They go in, they fill their plate up with stuff they don't want. You go in first, you take your first plate, and you go in and you do a small trial of each of the different goods out there. You make sure you understand how much they would cost if you were buying them elsewhere. And then once you know what you like, you go back again and you maximise your plate, finding out which is going to give you the best value when you're sitting in there. You eat as much as you can just before the point that you're sick, Sarah. Just before the point, right? And then you've got it all in there, and then you plan. And if you've got deep pockets...
What's your thermostat set at home?
4 jumpers and a big blanket.
Really? Do you wear jumpers in the house? What number is it on? Do you know what number it's on?
It doesn't work. It's set as a temperature. It's a little bit accurate. I think it's at, if you want to actually ask a question, it's at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, but there we go. And it's turned off as soon as possible after the winter ends. I'd like to be anything more, but I've got a little baby and she's more important than saving money.
Aww. Hasn't she got any jumpers? Do you haggle with your wife? Like, I'll take the bins out if you touch it.
Why would she want to touch the bins?
Well, if that's what you call it at home. When you give your wife flowers, are they usually wreaths that you found on the side of the road?
No, but you asked that. I was so proud the other week because there was this lovely bunch of flowers that had been reduced to 20p in the local supermarket. And normally, when you buy flowers, you obviously take the price off. But I was so proud of the bargain, I left it on just to show her.
And what did she say?
She was delighted. She's tighter than I am.
Even after having a baby. Now, you mentioned that you have a baby. Congratulations. I'm surprised you didn't have twins, though. Did they not have, like, a bog-off on babies at the time? Well, you did get a good return on your deposit, which is nice. Did you give... Oh, no, I don't know if I can do that.
Don't do that. Whatever it was, don't do it.
Did you give your wife an injection of liquidity?
No, but I've got a great endowment.
Now, did you know that you were the UK's second most searched person in 2010? Or did you just look a bit suspicious? Is that what it is?
You could have quoted it. I was the most searched person in 2009. I was the second most... I've been in quite a few years. The second most in 2010. And I think I'm right to say that the person who beat me that year was Cheryl Cole. And I think the thing is, you must understand, when people search me, it's obviously because they want to see my tips. And with Cheryl...
tips is to buy cheap cola and flush it down the toilet. Is that to clean it or just because it's horrible?
No, it does. It does really good cleaning, actually, if you talk about thrift. Same with bicarbonate of soda and white vinegar are really good. But, I mean, I have to admit, there are some things that I say which I admit even I don't do myself. If you're on a water meter, there's the old phrase, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. And I have to say, I draw the line just a little bit above that one. I flush. I press the little flush, not the big flush. You don't want to press the big flush if it's just a bit of yellow. No. You press the little flush, but you don't want to go the whole
And with my diet, sometimes I need to do the 2 and then a bucket of water. You can break it up with a stick, that helps it as well. Do you ever make economic mistakes? Like, do you ever...
Not being paid enough to come on this show.
You're not being paid at all, are you? Not?
No, exactly.
If you could only give us one money-saving tip, what would it be?
If you give people 2 DVD players and one costs 150 quid, one costs 50, you ask them which one's better. They say the 150 quid one, but often there's not much in it. It's called retail snobbery. It's about that we think because it costs more, it must be better. And actually, that's the way that stores try and get too much money off us. Judge it on the product, not on the price.
And that's why we didn't pay you that much.
And you didn't even get your money's worth.
If you were Chancellor of the Exchequer, what would you do?
Oh, resign.
Thank you very much, Martin. You've been a brilliant guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Lewis. We have listened to his advice, but there must be an easier way of making money. There must be. Let's give a go at this. Pizza, pizza, pizza! Hooray! I had a horrible feeling there was going to be fruit come out the bottom, so thank God that didn't happen.
Some BBC money, there you go, Flower. It's more than Martin got paid, but you deserve it.
Have you noticed there are so many history programmes on TV at the moment? Everything I've learned about history, I've got from Blackadder. I told Blackadder's writer Richard Curtis, and he was both thrilled and appalled. I take most history with a pinch of salt, especially the history of tequila. We didn't do history at school. We did humanities, so we just coloured in Romans for 4 years. So the only thing I know is that the Romans wore pink outfits. We didn't do World War II at school, but I heard about it from my granda. I wasn't sure if I'd follow it because I hadn't seen World War I. But I do know a few things. The Romantic era was when Spandau Ballet were top of the hit parade. The Great Depression lasted from 1929 to World War II, because that's when everyone cheered up. Or at least something's happening now. Stockings, chocolate and GI blowjobs. One of my friends watches a ridiculous amount of Hitler programmes. They're always on the history channels. Surely they've covered all angles now, though I've never seen Hitler says the funniest things. I saw on the listings that a show called Secrets of World War II was on at 6:45 a.m. and I thought, put it on at that time and they'll stay secret. Of course, it's not just the history programmes that have ancient artefacts on. The other day on Top Gear, I saw some opinions from the 1970s. I love Who Do You Think You Are? Bloody love it. But every time it comes on, I'm disappointed the theme tune isn't swing it, shake it, move it, make it. By series 25, it'll be called Who the Fuck Is That? The Australian version of Who Do You Think You Are is called What Do You Think He Did? I've actually been on Who Do You Think You Are? They don't tell you where you're going beforehand, and I had to have cold weather training. My boyfriend said that'll just be for the bit when you go back to South Shields. were filming at my parents' house, the crew needed us to be quiet while they recorded the sound of the room. The sound man said, "Recording at Sarah's parents' house in the back room." At which point my dad leaned right into the microphone and said, "Dining room." I still feel a bit bad for not knowing much about history. So to explain it all to me, please welcome TV historian Dan Cruickshank. Hello.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Dan. Welcome to the show. Thank you very much for coming. Can we go back to ancient times?
We can try.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before the Iron Age, was everything just really creased?
Very bent and wobbly, I'm sure.
Bent and wobbly. What is oral history? I've heard that happens to most couples.
Explain.
I'm not going to explain that to you.
I'm certainly not going to explain it to you, not now, anyway.
Not now. We'll do that. Well, we'll not do it later on. As part of your series, The Art of Dying, you asked the BBC obituary department if you could read your own obituary. Did it have a date on it?
I didn't ask for that.
They just gave you it?
Well, you know what television's like.
I do.
You do, exactly. It's pretty ghastly. And moments are made...
I'm having a lovely time, just so you know.
Apart from this evening. It wasn't my idea, but the producer decided to have my obituary written. It was disappointing. It was short. He told me I'd reached a reasonable average level. I don't know what it was, page and a bit.
I've written mine, so tell us what you think of this. Here lies Sarah Millican. She finally finished all the biscuits. She's buried with her cats. They're not happy. But at least they won't be hungry for a bit. She bought a double plot, so can you let Philip Schofield know, please? What historical figures would you have for dinner?
Oh, now this means to entertain at my dining table.
Like
no,
you were deep.
could mean that.
All the fat ones?
Yeah.
All over for dinner.
I live in Spitalfields in East London, and there's a notorious character there. Now dead, thank goodness, we suppose, Jack the Ripper. Now, I suppose I would rather like to have him at my... this mysterious character at my dining table to question him.
You'd want a few others as well, wouldn't you? Because that'd just be awkward if it was just you and him, wouldn't it?
He may not reveal his secrets.
Because you had a thought that Jack the Ripper may have lived in your house, is that correct?
He had a sense of humour, a wicked sense of humour. He wanted to torment and tease the police force. And my house is just a few doors down from the police station. And then I thought, well, really, you know, he'd probably lodge in the area, wouldn't he? And my house would have been a perfect place. Was a cheap lodging house at the time.
So you've come to this in quite an intelligent way. I just thought maybe we're still getting his post.
That's what it is.
Possible, isn't it? You are an expert on the sex industry in 18th century London, are you not?
Do you know, weirdly enough, I am. I'm sorry, but there we go. Academic.
Don't apologise, it's smashing.
Well, it's great to be an expert on something, yeah.
And you believe that 1 in 5 women were prostitutes in London then?
The calculations made at the time, and indeed various figures one can put together, suggest that that's the case, and therefore...
1 in 5?
Well,
1 in 5. I think that's what my mum thinks London's like now, though. 1 in 5. Possibly more. Was the Ming dynasty just full of ugly people? It does sound like a really ugly soap opera, doesn't it? Now, which other car parks have got kings in?
That was a brilliant story, wasn't it?
It was such a good story. I understand, you know, the fact that he was found in a car park, because I've lost my car in a car park, wandered round and gone, I think I'm going to die in here. So I totally get it. If you could go back to any time in history, When and where would it be?
Well, it would have to be the 18th century, I suppose. That would be fantastic. Just to walk the streets of London in the mid-18th century, looking, observing.
Just counting all the prostitutes.
I know
1, 2, 3, 4, definitely. 1, 2, 3, 4, yes.
Does it annoy you when people say, and the rest is history? Because you're like, come on, that's the bit, that's great.
Well, I mean, everything is history, isn't it? Everything is history. This is history now, thank goodness. you know, but... or living history, shall we?
Harsh. Yep.
But of course, all history is something that happened yesterday or even a few minutes ago. Things where you can reflect on and learn lessons from.
So the bit where Nelly had to describe to you what oral sex was, that's history.
That is now blessedly history. But
well, I like that bit of history.
You've been such an interesting guest. Thank you ever so much for coming on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Cruickshank. That's history sorted. Let's get back to proper telly. Those structured reality shows are as popular as ever, aren't they? The Only Way is Essex, The Valleys, Geordie Shore. Or as I like to call them, regional idiot shows. What's next? Ipswich has imbeciles. Dipshits of Devon. Cornwall has... There are 3 types of people who watch Towie. People who watch ironically, people who want to have that lifestyle, and people who've lost their remote control. If I wanted to find out inane nonsense about people I don't know or care about, I'd phone me mum. The men on Towie are so obsessed with their appearance. I don't know any blokes like that. I don't know any blokes who own a full-length mirror. All the men I know just check for bogies when they're in the car. I can't believe that Joey Essex is his real name. Surely they just gave him that surname so he'd know what to say to a taxi driver to get him home. Towie gave the world the vajazzle. Why call it that? Why not glunt or sequim? In Towie, you can always tell when your fella's having an affair because he comes back from a night out with a glittery mouth. They even had anal bleaching. They say you can't polish a turd, but you can give it a big entrance. I do love watching Geordie Shore, but I sometimes think I might have caught something off them through the telly. There's so much yeast in that house. People driving past must think they're near a brewery. I watched an episode of The Valleys the other day as they demonstrated teabagging. My boyfriend suggested it once, but changed his mind when he heard the kettle boil. Surely it's only a matter of time till one of them says, "Prestatin, as far as it'll go." The big reality show from the States is Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Kim Kardashian became famous as a result of a sex tape, or as we call it in our house, gaffer tape. She's described as a socialite, which comes from 2 words, sociable and parasite. Like a pissed fly. She has a fashion boutique called Dash. I dread to think what her underwear range is called. But my favourite reality show is Made in Chelsea, as that's the one that's closest to my lifestyle. A non-stop round of partying, modelling and fashion blogging. Sniff me leggings can get another day out with them. One of the blokes is the VIP host for a celebrity hangout. Talk about made-up job titles. He might as well be a unicorn trainer. Most of the women in Made in Chelsea are ladies who lunch. I don't see what's so impressive about that. I lunch, breakfast, brunch, dinner and tea. Don't take me on, ladies. One of them is called Binky. She sounds like she's been named by a xylophone. along with their brother, Plinky Plonk. They seem to just keep the nicknames they had at school. If I did that, I'd be called Norma No Mates. I'd like to know more about the world of Made in Chelsea, because I think I'd fit right in. So to tell me all about it, please welcome a former star of the show. It's Gabriella Ellis. Hello, Gabriella.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. Thanks very much for coming. Just how posh are you? Like, do you make common boyfriends use the tradesman's entrance?
Posh. We live in Chelsea, so we get branded as really posh, but we're the same as everyone else, I like to think.
You had to make a difficult choice to leave.
I did.
Didn't you?
Yes.
Was that because of the bedroom tax, or...? It must have been hard. Was it hard?
It was very difficult, actually. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone that I was leaving. So the last scene that you see when I genuinely walk in the room and say I'm leaving, everyone burst into tears. It was 2 years of my life. It was a big, big part.
Yeah.
So
that's nice as well that they burst into tears, rather than if you just went, bye! You're a bit of a role model, aren't you? Because I think nowadays a lot of kids really want rich parents, don't they? Have you ever wanted to visit the north and see how the other half live? I mean, like Camden, for example.
I've been to Camden.
You've been to Camden?
I have been to Camden,
Have you
yes.
been? Is this the furthest north you've been? Where in Salford?
I've been to Sunderland. Is
Wow,
that further?
why?
Yes. Because...
What's your favourite pot noodle flavour? Do you not even know what a pot noodle is?
I know what a pot noodle is.
Okay.
No, don't
You've seen
worry.
adverts?
I've seen the adverts, yeah.
Just say chicken.
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 Sweet chicken and sweet corn, I feel like that's going to be there.
Oh,
no?
That sounds a bit fancy. Is music your biggest love?
It is.
It is? It is. It's not still Ollie?
It's not Ollie, no. Like, Ollie and I are best friends now, so...
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes.
That's really nice.
I was with them all last night.
You say that even though Ollie is gay, he still knows how to satisfy a woman. Is he just, like, good at ironing, or...? It's enough. Sometimes it's enough.
Do you know what? He is very good at ironing.
Is he good at ironing?
He is very good at ironing.
Do the Chelsea girls go in for the vajazzling as well, like in Towie and the lady garden area? But is it like posher where you've got, like, somebody in, like, you've got your own lady gardener? To look after, you know, to trim your box hedging and...
I don't think... We're not really into our vajazzles. I think we like to just, you know, keep it clean.
Keep it clean's
Keep
good.
it clean. Yeah.
I think I could fit in.
I think you could.
In that show, I really do. I do need a little bit of help with this area.
With the
accent. Because at the moment, I do sound a lot like I could work in any call centre, don't I? Hello, you're through to Orange. I understand you're thinking of leaving. See, there you go. Is a highly trained vocal coach. Please welcome Samantha Masanu. Hello. Thanks for coming on, Pet.
My pleasure.
Now, are you going to teach me how to talk all dead posh and that, like
I am going
Gabriella?
to do my best.
Yeah?
Yes.
OK, what are we going to do? How the hell are we going to do that?
First of all, I'd like you to stand up for me because I
right.
think what we'll do, first of all, is a bit of centering and rooting work.
Oh.
This is going to help to give you confidence when you're doing the audition.
OK. I do feel confident when I've had a good rooting. I do.
Perfect. So what I'd like you to do is
Yes.
to stand with your feet hip-width apart and place your hands on...
Hip width.
And place your hands on your belly for me.
Oh, which belly? Do you want the one in the knickers or the one that's just slightly over the top?
Just around your belly button area.
Belly button, that bit there.
And what we're going to do is, when we're starting to do this exercise, I really want you to think about your inner bear, because that's what's going to give you the confidence, all right?
Hold on. My inner, I don't...
So you're in a bear. So there's a
like,
absolutely.
oh, okay. I was going to say there's not much bear down there. Right, in a bear.
Absolutely. So
in a bear.
how this is going to go is that I'm going to give you a double bounce of sound and you're going to repeat it.
Okay.
And then I'll do another double bounce of sound and you're going to repeat it. And we're going to work on the lovely RP vowels when we do this, all right?
Okay.
So let's give it a
Stop
go.
laughing, you.
Hands on the belly, focus on that centre, and ha-ha. Give it a try. Ha-ha. Lovely. Hi-hi.
Hi.
Ho-ho.
Ho-ho.
Oh, I feel like thunder now.
There you go.
Ho-ho-ho. Ho-ho-ho.
You're doing very well.
Thanks.
Next thing we're going to work on now is something that's called oral posture.
Oh, that's down on my knees. Because if you're in the car, you just lean over a bit.
That's when we're looking at what the lips, teeth, tongue and jaw are doing, and primarily we're going to be focusing on the jaw.
John, almost certainly not supposed to use teeth. Just a little bit, like...
It's all right. Looking at the jaw for this one, so with RP, what
Yes.
we're after is a lovely released jaw. That means there'll be more space in the mouth, in the oral cavity. Absolutely, so there's lots more room for those lovely RP vowels to bounce around.
Lots of room in there.
So, well, you're going to love this because I'd like you to place your hands together. Brilliant. I want you to adopt a dropped jaw position, which is absolutely. And what I'd like you to do is we're going to shake our hands forward and backwards really, really quickly. To this. The jaw
That's what
should
he
be...
always says. He's just tense, apparently.
The head should stay beautifully still. The jaw should be lovely and released. And we're going to be doing it on an R sound, doing it on an R sound. So, you can watch me if you like, first of all, and then you can
I'd like
copy.
to.
All right, no problem. Ready?
Yeah.
And...
Very small one.
And that's really brilliant for loosening the jaw, because I can see that yours, well, actually, it might not be that tight. Moving on. The next thing that I really want us to look at is the vowel changes.
Okay.
We're going to be moving on to the major RP vowel sounds. So the first one that I'd like you to consider is the O sound. Found in the words like don't and no. Say that for me.
Don't and no. That's how I say it. Don't and no.
Good, so give me the O sound.
Oh.
Much better. And incorporate that now into the word.
Oh.
Don't. No.
No.
Much better, well done.
Don't know.
And last but not least, the other really important vowel is the long vowel sound R, moving from its short position, potentially with your accent. So if you were saying the words like laugh and bath and grass, they would be lengthened with the long R sound to bath, laugh, grass. Go and give it a go for me.
Laugh.
Good.
Bath.
Lovely.
Grass.
Very good. How we would complete that is to do a get-in line, so it's a practice sentence. So incorporating those vowels that we've now worked on, a possible practice sentence might be, I don't know if I want a bath.
But I always know. So I just want to go, I don't know if I want a bath. It's not even any words, it's just...
I don't know if I want a bath.
I think I've got it. I really do. I just need to accessorise. Bear with us a second.
on.
Try and say this and have a conversation with Gabriella.
Oh, God, OK. OK, let's do this. Oh, God. So anyway, like, I'm having drinkies with Binky and Cheska when who should so turn up but Millie? And, like, she's so up in my grill. And she's like, way. And I'm like, no way. So I totally throw my glass of pop in her face. Only Carver, totally worth it. Anyway, j'adore Chelsea, don't you think, Gabs?
I didn't even know what you were talking about, Pet.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gabriella, Ellis and Samantha Massenio.
That's it for tonight. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to talk about the BBC's economics editor, Stephanie Flanders, whose radio show is called Stephanomics. It's a shame she doesn't do it on the telly. She could show statistics on a Steffi graph. Business news, which is what we call it at home, when the cat's, like, totally shat where he shouldn't. And we didn't have time to talk about the rest of history. Apparently, there's, like, fucking loads of it. Ciao.
Get your fundraising goodies from bbc.co.uk/Pudsey.
To 60s London next on BBC Two, where sometimes an education isn't by the book.